Sound Pollution, your home for independent and up-and-coming artists. We have Trashy Annie.
The
award-winning Trashy Annie, who is the headliner for our show, which is this Wednesday, October 26th.
Doors open at 6:30. We go live at 7.
And we are really excited. It's our first live show.
We are. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited, really nervous, super excited. Really looking forward to this interview with Trashy Annie. I feel like things are going a little too well. Like, usually there's a fucking that will happen. So, especially.
It will. Don't worry about it.
Well, no, I mean, just like, I even got offered a job today. So I'm just like, and my kids too. I did, actually, a really cool job. So it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It'll be fun regardless. So I'm ready, and I think you all should come and see us.
I think you should too.
Come see us. Is at the Carousel
Lounge in Austin, Texas. So anyway, we're glad that you were able to sign on, and we'll go ahead and kick off the interview with Trashy Annie.
Well, welcome back, Annie. We appreciate you being here. And before we say anything else, I just wanted to formally thank you for being our headliner and for loaning us drums and a PA, because it's going to make all the difference in the world.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're excited. It's our last show of the year so far. So.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of months and just, it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be good.
So who all are you bringing to the show to play?
Just our 4-piece, the guys that are going on tour with me this week. So it'll be Dallas on guitar and Jeff on drums and Miles on bass. And then, it's kind of my main crew. We're still kind of new to each other. Dallas, the guitar player, has only been with us for maybe a month or so.
Wow.
But yeah, we rotated through a lot of rotating cast of characters on the guitar spot for sure. So it's nice to have somebody that's pretty solid now.
And who else is in the group with you?
Jeff Norby is on drums, and he's been playing with me for I don't know if it's been a year, but sometime for a while.
It feels like a year sometimes.
I feel like it. Yeah. So give or take a year, and then Miles on bass, who's awesome, and he's a somewhat new addition within the last 6 months or so, and he's a great bass player, and so we're super excited about him. And then Dallas is the guitar.
It's kind of crazy that you've transitioned your whole band. Like, you've had a lot of turnover recently in all areas.
Yeah, in the last 2 years. I guess I started it 2 years ago. And we've had many guitar players and several drummers and several bass players, actually. So yeah, it feels like we've finally solidified a group. It's a hard thing. I was just talking to somebody today about that. Her husband's a musician, and he's just had such a struggle keeping a band together. And we were sort of commiserating over that aspect, because, you got to find people that have the same schedule, have the same interests, have the same goals and desires for the band. Because, I want to tour. And if you find people who don't want to tour or can't tour for family reasons or whatever, like, even if they're super talented and love the music, it's just it's a non-starter. So it's hard.
Why do you want to tour? Like, what do you mean when you say tour?
I want to play all over the United States, maybe outside the United States too. I think playing in Europe would be cool. We've got a decent fan base in like Brazil and Mexico for whatever reason down south. So wouldn't mind checking out some of those places at some point. I don't speak Spanish or anything, so I think if we went out of the United States, probably going to Europe would make sense. Just English speaking countries to start. But yeah, I'm a travel bug anyway. I've always been that way. Before I was ever into music, I would just get in my car with just my toothbrush and my mountain bike and, go for 4 weeks, just figure it out. Be like, I'll be back when I'm back. So it's just in me anyway. And so I think the music world and touring and sort of exploration of new places, it just all goes together really well.
Yeah.
Wow. But you gotta find people who are of that mindset, right? Because I'm totally fine if I gotta crash in the back of the van or whatever. I've slept in my car a billion times before I was ever in music. And so finding people who are like, yeah, we're gonna schlep it out until we can make enough money to be staying in decent places is hard too.
I don't know. You take pretty good care of your band, though.
I try. I'm at a point in my life where I want to at least provide as much comfort as I can for the people that are schlepping through this with me. And I'd like to be able to pay them more. I'd like to be able to always guarantee I can put them in a hotel, but I work pretty hard to try to make them as comfy as I can. And then, ideally we enjoy each other's company and stick this thing out, and it gets easier over time. But yeah, I try. I do.
That's cool. I like the traveling aspect of it too. I was telling Brent that when my daughter graduates, I'm just buying a van and going everywhere, and I'm gonna go everywhere. I mean, the van down by the river. You're shaking your head, but I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. I'm not a one place person. I'm ready to go.
The reason I'm shaking my head is because my idea of a good time is going home and not seeing anyone, not doing anything, but maybe streaming a few shows, hanging out with my wife, and playing music. I don't have a wife,
so that's not a problem for me.
Well, we can work on that.
I'm great. Like, you get a laptop and a little Wi-Fi connection, you got Netflix right there. Houses are overrated.
I like to have my domain. I mean, this whole working from home thing that kicked in because of COVID is it fits with who I am so well. Because if I didn't have to leave the house, I would not. I see no reason for that.
And I'm ready to go.
I mean, when I was younger, yeah, but now I'm just I'm tired.
I'm like nice.
Yeah. I like seeing new places. I think that you have little kids, Brent. So I think once you are not so fatigued and can actually sort of come out of that fog, you're who knows, you might change your mindset. No, you're like,
I think
good.
this is a character disorder.
Leave me alone.
I think this is a character disorder. I'm just kind of a home person.
But see, I don't like a lot of people either. I just want to see places.
Me too. I'm the same way. When I go traveling, I'll go to places and just be by myself and hike trails and mountains and explore and just be not around people. So I like playing music because I think I told you guys this before, but I'm pretty introverted actually, and it's kind of a forced extrovert thing that I have to do in the artist world. But playing music is cool because it's like you're kind of in a zoo, there's almost a glass wall between you and the crowd, and so you can feel like you're being all social and engaging with all these people, but then you get to just leave out the back door and not actually have to, I know there's some responsibility working, going out and saying hi to the crowd and doing all that, and I do to an extent enjoy the genuine people that are there, but you also run into a lot of drunk people who are just, they're spitting all over you when they talk, and they're doing the whole thing, and they're just completely wasted, and that whole thing does nothing for me. So I do enjoy being on the stage and doing the thing, and then being able to kind of back away from that social aspect when I'm ready.
So for our listeners who are going to be at the show, because I'm praying that it's just packed and there's a line, but I know that's wishful thinking. What is a Trashy Annie show like live in person?
I'm glad that we are doing full band, because I know when we first talked about this show, you guys had, kind of been leaning acoustic and doing the whole thing, but I'm just glad we're getting to do the full band. I enjoy doing everything. I enjoy doing to lesser extent, but I enjoy singer-songwriter acoustic shows. I like duos and trios and all that kind of stuff. We incorporate that into a lot of our shows, actually, the longer ones. But when we've just got an hour or 90 minutes to play and we go up there and rock out, we bring the band, everybody, dresses up all crazy and we rock out. I mean, I think we've got kind of a mix of music. I've got some stuff that, especially some of the newer stuff that'll be out on the album coming out in the first of the year, way heavier rock. vibe than country, but still has a little bit of a country edge to it, just because of the way I sing and the way I write. I think that lends itself to country. So the shows are a little bit of a mixed bag, because we'll play a little bit of country stuff, and then we'll play a little bit of rock, and sometimes we'll throw in an acoustic song or two in there just to mix it up a little bit. But I don't enjoy going to shows myself when I feel like it's really homogenous throughout the whole thing, no matter how good a band is. If it doesn't take you on a bit of a journey, you just kind of acclimate too fast, and sort of, at least I sort of lose interest, but no matter how much I love them. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is build a show that ebbs and flows a little bit, so it keeps people interested.
So you've been out touring a lot, and I know you said you have a new album. Tell us about that new album. Well, it's not out now, but it's going to be out.
It will be. It'll be out. Yeah, it's in the studio right now. We tracked a whole ton of music, and I'm going to pick I don't know if it'll even be my favorite, but just whichever tunes feel like they belong on this first sort of debut full-length album, the songs that go together the best. And so that'll become the first album, and that'll be out after the first of the year. And then I've got a few extra tunes that'll go on to kind of the beginning of the second one. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it. I've gone back and forth with how to group the songs together. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff that's leaning a lot heavier into the rock world. And that's probably my favorite thing to play right now. I'm really enjoying that from a live show, especially perspective. And so I want to get a bunch of those tunes onto this first album. It's a little bit hard because we do have this big spread, and I've got really kind of stripped down acoustic songs that are that mean something to me. They're a little bit deep and emotional and whatever. And then we've got these rock songs, and how do you put all that onto one album and not make somebody feel like they have whiplash? So I think that we're trying. I'm going to need a little. I just signed with a label, and I'm going to need a little guidance from them as to probably which tunes need to go on this first album. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think I think there's some good songs on there. I think it's going to be really good.
So you just mentioned something that I wanted you to talk about. So the exciting thing about this release coming up is you're signed with a record company. So how is that going to change when you're getting ready to release this new album? I think you were initially going to call it the Nashville Sessions or the Arizona Sessions or something, the Refreshment Sessions.
No, so I had a few tunes. So the way this whole journey went, I think last time we spoke, I had just gotten back from Nashville. I forget exactly kind of where we were last time we talked, but
Juliet.
Juliet
was right after Juliet.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So I had the first couple of tunes, I did sort of DIY on my own, whatever, and then got the guys from Arizona involved on Nuclear Meltdown, was super happy with that working relationship, but then their studio sort of broke up. So then I was trying to figure out what to do next and who to work with from a musician perspective. Got a call from the Nashville guys, and they said, come on up here, let's do something up here. I said, okay. So we went up, we tracked a bunch of tunes up there. And so I didn't release an EP of those Nashville sessions, which were 5 tunes. I released a couple of them with the intention of really putting them on a bigger album at some point. So I've held on to a couple of the tunes from Nashville to put on this first album because I think they'll belong in sort of a bigger grouping. And then after that was all done, came back and reconnected with the Arizona team to track all of these new songs. So we did, I think, 15 songs recently in a studio out in Arizona. So all of that stuff is being worked now. And then once I have all of that on the table, I can say, okay, what goes on the first album, and then what will go on the second album, or what will be trickled out as singles or what have you. So as far as, what's different between what I did before and what I'm about to do, having a label involved, I have some guidance because I didn't have that before at all. I was like, all right, I'm just going to record whatever I have written, and throw it out there on Spotify and just hope somebody listens to it. And I had no guidance in how to go about promotion or any of that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be the exciting thing, is now I have a team of people who actually understands what should go into releasing an album and the promotional aspect behind it, which tunes should be on the album, what to do with it once it's out there. So kind of what a tour should look like around a new album. So I think that's going to be the thing that's most different for me from the last couple of releases that I've put out there.
So are you okay? You're going to have to release your death grip on some of the stuff.
No, you say that. I don't know, man. I told him, I was like, listen, if you want to work with me, I'd like to have some control. But I think I'm okay with that because I trust these people. And I think that that's a big deal. You can't, no amount of contracts or money or anything else can buy trust. And I think that so far these guys have been really great to work with. And I think that they're going to guide me, towards my best interest. And same with this crew of people I'm working with in the Arizona studio. I tend to want to have a lot of control over my music, and I want to be in the production, from start to finish. And I want to be in it. Part of it's because I want to learn. It's not all just control freak stuff, but it's also that I have a vision for my music, and I know what I want the listener to experience when they hear it. And so I want to make sure. I can't always figure out how to get it there.
You want to remain independent in your music, in the creative aspect of it.
Yeah, because you hear all these horror stories, and I'm also new to all of this stuff, but you hear all these horror stories about labels just taking over and saying, this is how you're going to do this, and this song's not going to get released because this doesn't have mass appeal, or blah 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 blah. And I just that's just not my jam. That's not why I'm in this world. I feel like I enjoy songwriting just more than I've probably ever enjoyed anything. And I think I don't want that to be sort of tarnished by other people saying I need to do something to appeal to a certain crowd in some way, because that's not why I'm doing this at all. So yeah, that's right. I want to have enough control where I feel like it's still me and I'm still genuine to who I am as a musician and as an artist as this stuff comes out into the world.
We don't need a dirt road to make our getaway, honey. We got every star in every sky. We don't need a lantern to light our runaway, honey. We got every little firefly. We don't need a path to the top of every hill or a trail that we know we'll cut through. Don't need nothing but your hand to hold, 'cause I just wanna get lost with you. So you bring the rock, I'll make it roll, baby. You bring the heart, honey, I'll bring the soul. You bring the star, I'll make it go, baby. You bring the rain and honey, I'll tie the bow. You bring the sun, I'll make it shine, baby. You bring the honey, honey, I'll make the wine. You be the one, I'll make it too, baby. I'll tie the bow. So you bring the sun, I'll make it shine, baby. You bring the honey, honey, I'll make the wine. You be the one, I'll make it too, baby. You bring the heart for me, and I'll bring the love for you.
And I also know that you have been working on some new music videos. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. I mean, Brent's going to be like, you're just a control freak. You can't not do it yourself. But I do enjoy
He's laughing.
all the creatives. I know, because I know. That's judgment. That's a laugh of judgment.
He's like, I'm not going to say I told you so.
I know. But I think what it is I like, right now I'm having to do everything. I'm doing all the booking and all the band management. I'm writing everything. I'm doing all the creative. I'm doing all the social, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad I have, because I now understand a lot more than I did a year ago about what goes into all that back end stuff. But now I can start picking and choosing what are the things that I'm good at, what are the things that I detest doing, and start to figure out who the team is behind all of this music machine. So for me, the music video piece, I love it. I'm not great at the techie side. If you see any of the, there's a couple of videos on YouTube. Nuclear Meltdown is better than Runnin', and I think Knock Knock, which will be the next one, is better than the other two. So I'm making progress in my ability to edit and do all this stuff, because I'm not a techie human being at all. So the fact that I'm even diving into this world is,
I would be
sort of
terrified.
out of my comfort zone. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't come naturally to me, but I enjoy the process and I enjoy the creative piece of it. I think where it gets sticky is, I've got ideas for music videos in my mind, but you need a team. I can't just make every video, me filming myself running around the woods and go splice it together. Like, you can only do so many of those, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to get, the band involved, and we got to get other people and kind of have a storyline. I've got some ideas for some of that stuff, but sometimes it's hard to get all that together and wrangle those people in a way that is, cheap and relatively easy to pull off. So that's going to be the sticking point in future videos, I think.
Well, now that you're with a record company, you'll probably get some guidance on that too. I think the good thing of you being a micromanager is when you finally let go, and I found this for myself, I know what needs to be done. So if someone's pulling some shit or bullshitting me, I'm going to know it really quickly. And so they know I'm going to know it. So when I hand something over to someone, they know I'm going to be watching what they're doing,
Yeah.
But yeah, I do videos. I edit them, but then I give them to someone else and I say, this is what it should look like.
You
but
complete the process.
Make it 50 better. Make it 50 times better. So,
that's a good way to do it, though.
Yeah.
To kind of hear you polish it. Here's this. Here are the big chunks. If you can make it look
turd.
nice.
Here's
my turd.
Oh,
make it look pretty.
Make it shiny.
Yeah. Shiny.
And that's kind of how I manage the storyline of mine, and that's also how I improved my videos keep getting better as far as content, and so that's a lot of research and watching video, because I use a lot of stock videos, so finding stock video that's consistent across the board and looks good all together, when you're using multiple characters or single characters, it's a lot of work. I would like to just have a production company and I say, this is my idea, this is how I want to do it, how are we going to do it?
Yeah, I would too. I think if you have enough money, that is definitely a thing that can be done. I think you could, that is next level stuff, which would be amazing. I agree. It'd be awesome to just say, okay, here's the idea, help me bring this to life, and not months and months of me trying to get clips with my iPhone and somehow piece them together to kind of get this idea out of my head. People who do this for a living that could say, yes, I know how to do that. And I know the people we need, and I know the lighting, and I know the, venue, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That would be that's the dream.
So when is your next live video going to come out? Because it's a live video, right?
No. The one I did for Knock Knock is just me doing it myself, not a live show thing. It's just me. But the stuff that we just filmed at Sam's Burger Joint down in San Antonio, we're splicing some of that stuff together. But that'll be more, at least right now, of kind of a sizzle reel situation. We don't have a live cut yet that has sound attached. Because, you and I have talked about this before. Getting live sound that does the show justice is really challenging because you don't want to have cool video with crappy sound because it ruins the whole thing. And also it's not a good representation of what the band sounds like. And so I think that's where we're sitting with that. We need some live footage, but it's got to have good sound or I don't want to put it out there.
Yeah, because you got a certain brand that you want to push, and being out of tune, like I'm out of tune sometimes when I play live and it drives me crazy. So
I just find that it's if you're not getting it out of the board and you can't kind of mix it, or if you're just getting it as a something out of somebody's phone or out of their, even if it's a nice camera, if it's just coming out of one mic, it's a flat sound. It doesn't give you the depth of what a live show sounds like. And if that's the first time somebody's experienced our music, you don't want that to be their first impression. It's cool if they hear something as their first impression on Spotify and then they go listen to it and they're like, oh yeah, I know what this song sounds like in kind of the studio version. But if they've never seen you and that's the first thing they see, you don't want the sound to be, to not do you justice. So I think that's a big part of it for me in releasing live footage.
I agree. And that's a part of just getting more experience, figuring out what you want to release into the world and what you're not okay releasing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're doing everything right now. So what's hard, what's easy, in general, what's hard and what's easy.
Yeah.
So that helps you. 10 years ago, I would record a live video and be fine with it, but now that shit would be burned in a fire.
Some of it was me.
Right.
Gasoline and fire.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What video?
Well, I think you and I were talking about this the other day that, the internet is forever. So you put stuff out there, you're like, oh, I can just take it down. And then sure as shit, that stuff keeps popping up on your feed. You're like, where did that even come from? I thought I got rid of that. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's important, especially as you're an emerging artist or, somebody's kind of new to the scene, to be careful with what gets put out there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. When I'm talking to Randy of our LP, he would be like, well, why don't you do this? And I go, because I don't want that out there. I go, I may do that, but I don't want other people knowing I'm doing it.
Right.
I have standards, even though my brand does not appear to have standards.
Your brand has good standards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a good job with it.
What else is going on? What else do you have going on? So you have an album coming out. You have a record deal now. You have a video coming out soon, and then you have live video footage coming out after that. What's next for Trashy Annie?
Well, next. So we leave tomorrow to go up to Lubbock, and I'm getting my Americana Artist of the Year award from CMAF Texas. So that's really
wow.
cool.
So you
Congratulations.
won it? So are you is it like the CMA Awards where you're there and you're sitting there with your bow and they'll be like, and the top contenders are Uncle Brent, Chuck Weimer, and Trashy Annie. I mean, is that what it's like? What's it going to be like?
I don't know. I've never won an award before.
She's I don't know. I'm gonna go look okay and go, yeah, I won this.
I'm gonna dress cute. We're gonna go up. It's at the Cactus Theater in Lubbock, and so they're doing tonight. Actually, they did the 2022 awards because things got kind of backed up with COVID, and so they're doing the 2022 awards tonight, and then tomorrow night will be the upcoming 2023 awards, and so we'll play. We play a couple of songs, which is cool. And so my band will be with me, and then they'll do the awards, and then from there we ship out and drive to DFW, which is only 3 or 4 hours, but we'll play there the following night. And then we haul ass across the country to South Carolina, play a festival on Saturday, and then play Defusky Island on Sunday. And then the boys fly home and I drive everything back. So that's kind of the very next thing. And then we play the show on Wednesday night. And then I'm taking 2 months. I'm taking November, December.
I think you deserve that. I think you deserve that just for that week.
Oh man, you guys, let me tell you about this last tour we went on. Brent knows a little bit about this. Oh God. So we, this was in June. And so it was a 2.5 week tour out to the East Coast. We had a bunch of stuff planned. So the person that was supposed to book us for a bunch of shows was like, yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. Because he thought he could get us a whole bunch of shows at this chain of places. And so it got up until, you guys, booking a tour is a massive pain in the ass when you don't have any help on the whole thing, and everybody's got to take off work if they, got job, whatever. So I'm trying to figure out this 2.5 week thing out there. And so it comes up to being like 3 weeks before we're supposed to be out there, and the guy can't get us X, Y, and Z gigs. And I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to go, we're going to do our thing. So I drive out there to South Carolina, which is like, it's about 20 hours from here with thunderstorms and all the things you always hit. So I get there, the boys are supposed to fly in on Friday night. Well, one of the boys is supposed to fly in on Friday night because the other two couldn't make it because I lost a guitar player like right before the tour. So I had to sub somebody in. He's like,
Brent,
I can't
does
come
that
for this
sound
weekend.
familiar?
Oh yeah, he and I just talked about this whole thing too recently.
And the drummer, oh my God,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was sourcing a guitar player and a bass player from the South Carolina area. And so I get there and my drummer's supposed to fly in. So he gets in and I can't get a hold of this guitar player. And I'm like, this guy, I got in a day early so we could go through the songs, can't get a hold of him. So my drummer gets there. I pick him up on Friday. Our show is Friday night. I get a hold of the drummer or the guitar player finally. He says, oh yeah, sorry, just got busy. Come on over. We'll practice for like an hour before the show. I'm like, all right, this is like 30 original songs, right? We're playing all original shit. So we show up at this guy's house and he doesn't even like say hi to us or anything. He opens the door and he starts telling us immediately how he's going to change up some of these songs because he just doesn't really like what we're doing with the chorus on some of these tunes. And we're both like,
my songs
okay,
are already written. Home skillet, like back up.
And also we play in an hour, dude. So we get there and we go through a couple of the songs. We realize it's going to be a disaster. My drummer and I are looking at each other like, this is not.
You're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So we get to the show and we play this thing and it's at this place. I won't mention the name of the place because these places are in serious trouble out there. But anyway, it's a chain of places. So we played at this place and there's this video of like it shooting across where I'm all having a great time. Jeff's back there jamming on the drums. Bass player that we subbed is having a good time. And then you see this guitar player and he's like sitting on the edge of the stage with like the frumpiest look on his face, and we're like, okay, this is, it's not going well. He doesn't know the key of any of these songs. He's popping no-dos in between sets. We're like, okay, this is bad. So we get through this shit show of a show and I haven't even left the stage yet. I'm like going to get off the stage and the guy walks up to me and he's like, well, I'm going to need to get paid for this gig. I'm like, I understand. However, let's maybe just get off the stage.
Can we get off the stage first?
Right?
Can I go talk to people first? Relax.
Yeah. Like the whole thing pouring down rain. So anyway, we get through this nightmare of a show and I fire the guy. I'm like, listen, we're just going to go our own way for the next 2 nights and this is bad because I don't play lead guitar at all. Like if I'm willing to just go it with just rhythm guitar for 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever we were playing, like, it was a bad deal. So I let him go. And so we show up on Saturday night to another one of this same chain's locations. They have no idea we're there. They're like, oh, we have a band tonight. We're like loading our stuff up onto the stage. They're like, oh yeah, our sound system doesn't even work. And we're like, what? So the guy was like, yeah, I mean, you can either just hang out and drink for a while, or we can put you outside. It's like 105 and like 99% humidity in Savannah. I was like, well, we want to play, so we're going to do it. So put us outside. So they put us outside. We're just playing, no lead guitar, whatever. So we get through this show. So then Sunday night we played a third one of these places that is the same chain of places.
Right.
We show up, and the guy that had found me the original guitar player that I ended up firing, he said, I got another guy. And I was like, all right, I could really use a guitar player, so like send him over. So the guy.
Oh, you have so much more belief in this guy than I do. Because I'm not even there, and I'm like, no.
I know. I was such an idiot. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, so this guy calls me up. He seems super jazzed to play with us. I'm like, all right, just even if you can just provide some help on the solos or whatever. So we get there, and the bass player sees this guy across the parking lot. It's like, I'm not fucking playing with that guy. I'm like, oh no, they have some drama. And so it almost goes into fist fight between the two of them. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to let the guitar player go because I've already committed to this bass player, and he's been doing a great job, and we like him and everything else. So let this other guy go. So we sit down, we start our set. I kid you not, an hour, not even, 40 minutes into this set. We're just playing for a couple hours. The manager of the place comes over and says, we're gonna have to close this down because that we ran out of food. This is Father's Day. And I was like, okay, so poor planning on that side of things. So they closed the whole place down, shut us out. We're like 45 minutes to our set. There's people circling the parking lot wanting to come in, whatever. So anyway, so that was that first weekend. So the second weekend, all my band is supposed to come in. So I fly my drummer back. I spend the week in Savannah. Like I was supposed to have more shows, but then the guy couldn't figure it out, right? So the whole band is coming in for the following weekend. So they all call me on Friday morning, and I'm supposed to pick them up at like 2, and we're going to go play this show. And they're like, did anybody tell you that all our flights got delayed? And I was like, what? They said, oh yeah, last night our flights all got canceled because of some weather thing. So they were spread out all over the country. So I was supposed to pick everybody up at 2. It became like a pick this person up at this time, like 1 hour before the show, got to go get the drummer, blah, blah, blah. So we play, whatever. We end up playing the show, goes okay, fine. Play the Saturday night show, goes okay, fine. We're like, okay, we got this one show left. It's this cool show at this theater with this other band, and we've sold a bunch of tickets. Everybody's super excited. And I'm going to pick the boys up to head out to this show, and the guy calls me and he says, I'm so sorry, but the ceiling collapsed at the venue that you guys are supposed to play because apparently there was an air conditioning leak, and the whole ceiling fell in, and it was full of water. And so our whole last show got canceled, which again, we're out there, got to make money, whatever. So anyway, so that happened. And then, so we just kicked around Savannah for the night and sent everybody home. Well, then my bass player's flight got canceled. He got stuck in Atlanta and had to stay overnight. I got a flat tire driving back and couldn't get AAA to come rescue me for 7 hours. I was on the side of the road 7 hours in Atlanta or in Alabama. Yeah,
it was so anyway, hot. It was so humid.
It was pouring down rain. I had my dog with me, and he's freaking out about the thunderstorm. So yeah, I'm just sitting on the side of a freeway for 7 hours. And anyway, it was my fault because I should have brought a jack with me. I could have changed that thing in 5 minutes, but I didn't have a jack. So anyway, it was. That tour, it was one of those things that just made me think I need to get big enough where I can have a tour manager because I need somebody else to struggle with that. I'm trying to think about my lyrics, like, okay, what are the words of this fucking song? Not, oh my God, is my drummer stuck in Atlanta for 6 hours, before the show. So,
oh my God.
Anyway, touring. So that's the dark side of touring. It's not always as awesome as it sounds like it's going to be on paper.
Well, you're laughing about it, so that's good.
You know what? I feel like.
What else are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I had found out.
At the point of the ceiling collapsing, I'd have been like, of course it did. Why not?
It did. It kind of felt like that. I think we were at that point. We're like. And in fact, the part I forgot about, a week before we were supposed to leave on this tour, I had a bus. I got my little short bus, and I was going to be our tour bus, and we just like done all this rehab to it, blah blah blah. It was ready to go. I was bringing it back from the guy that was changing the oil, the mechanic, and black smoke starts pouring out the thing. I'm like, I just bought this like 2 weeks ago, He's like, yeah. It's got a broken head gasket. So ended up selling that thing at auction.
It's not even worth fixing it.
You can't even fix it. I ended up sticking it in auction, so that happened. So I had to, drive my little van or whatever. That was the reason they couldn't ride with me, because I only had a little tiny van at the time, and I'd planned on us all being in this bus. And so anyway, it was just one thing after another, dude. We called it the Voodoo Tour, because I'm sure I'm forgetting like 8 other things.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you basically lost money on that tour, and then you lost a lot of money on that bus.
Yes, I did. Yes,
so
I definitely did.
How do you recover from something like that? Like a few weeks ago, my whole bank account, my business bank account got hacked, and they took everything. And so I was like, and so had my bank not stepped up and helped me, I would have been screwed. That would have been it.
Yeah.
How do you recover from that stuff?
I mean, I think it's a slow slog. I've always because I have a company that before I got back into music, that's sort of my day job thing. I don't talk a lot about that usually, but I've got a business that I run that I started and is doing okay. So that's what I use to sort of fund my startup worlds on the music side. And so I kind of look at music like any other business. There's a startup investment that's involved, and you're going to win some and you're going to lose some, and hopefully in the end you win more than you lose. And I don't have an infinite amount of money that I can just continue to throw at things like tours and stuff. But I also know the importance of investing in casting the net very wide and getting out there and playing live shows and, meeting the people and saying hi to the fans that, they follow you on social media, but that's so different than getting to say hi in person. And, I kind of joke about not really wanting to talk to people ever or whatever, but when people have made an effort to come out to a show, I want to be a good band to them. I want to say hi to them in person, and I want to, thank them for being there, because it's a weird world right now for musicians, trying to get people butts in seats. There's so much competition. Streaming is, the way that everybody consumes music now. So even getting people to, buy an album or come to a show is just, it's a hard deal, especially if you're new So I think it's really important to be putting yourself out there and working your ass off to get in front of people as much as you can. And I the more shows I play, the better I become, right? I mean, I was not good 2 years ago, and I was, reading off my lyric sheets and I had my book of stuff, and I just, the change the progress in the last couple of years has been because I've played 100 shows in a year. I was like, I'll just take every show I can get to get good at performing live. So that doesn't answer the question of like, how do you come back from financial expenditures? But I've kind of always looked at it as, okay, there's going to be sort of some upfront costs involved if I want to speed this thing up. And I just got to keep working it.
It's kind of like that one movie when the guy goes, "There will be blood."
Yeah, kind of like that.
There will be pain and there will be suffering.
There's financial
that's the
pain.
Hellraiser movie. That's the Hellraiser movie.
That's right.
No, but the funny thing that I've noticed is the more money you make, the easier it is to make money.
Yeah, they always say that, that it takes money to make money because you can invest back in yourself. As long as you don't just take that money and say, I'm going to spend it on something completely unrelated. If you put a piece of that money, and that's what I do every time I have a show. And I also view, paying my band as an investment. I mean, I would love it if these guys were just like, yeah, let's just all be arm in arm and like, we'll do it for free. But they got bills to pay. And you can't do that to people. And especially if you want them to practice and show up prepared and everything, you got to pay your guys. So, I'll pay my guys before I'll pay myself always, make sure everything's covered on their end. And then if there's anything left over for me, that's cool. But I always take that and put it back into the business of the music, which brand and paying for session players to record a good album and all that stuff, it's worth putting the money back into it.
Yeah, I think it's your business acumen that's going to help you power through it, because if you've been in business, I'm going to get my head kicked in for a long time before things start breaking.
Yep.
And even the breaks, and you get your head kicked in for so long that you have little successes and you're like, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about next week, and everybody's like, it's no big deal. I'm like, you don't fucking understand. I've been doing this for 3 years. This is our first live show. I am excited. I know
as you should be.
It's a big deal. No, I think what we're doing is a big deal. We have something cool going on, and I'm excited to see what happens with that interaction, because I think if we do well, we'll be able to build on this,
That's why I was pushy to do it. I was like, no, we're over the COVID hump. We need to do this. I'm sorry it wasn't the 2 shows we planned, but I'm excited about it. I don't think it'll fully hit me till I get off the plane with like a guitar and I'm like, what's happening?
It's going to be cool. And you're right. You got to start somewhere, and we'll learn what worked, what didn't, whatever, and then go back and do it again and do it better the next time. It's just like with everything else. I think it's a really cool thing. You also don't, something that people remind me, I try to remind myself of this too. It's not very often as adults, like well into adulthood, we get to have first time things very often.
Yeah.
And it's cool to like sit in it and recognize like, this is the first time I've done this big, huge, cool thing that I put all this work into. And, no matter how it goes, getting to look at it from that perspective and say, this is awesome and I did this is a great thing. So I think it's going to be so much fun.
That's every day of my life. I just have fantastic shit going on all the time.
All the time.
So is there anything else you want to talk about? Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find the music on all the places, Spotify, Amazon, all those things. It's all under Trashy Annie. TrashyAnnie.com is my website, and that has links to everything and links to YouTube and social and all those things. That's probably a good place to start. And we also started just recently putting all of our shows on Bands in Town. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good platform. It's been really user-friendly so far. And when a show gets canceled or changed or whatever, it's really easy to communicate to the people that were intending to come. So I would like to start building that up a little bit because I think it's a great way for people to follow us. So yeah, Bands in Town and all the other social places, the usual social things. Trashy Annie Music for Instagram, but everything else is Trashy Annie.
Yeah. Bands, that site is cool because if people can say, tell me when she's in this area.
Exactly.
And then it will send you an email or text going, they're in the area.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And it's been good from an artist perspective. I mean, it's like I say, I'm not techie. It's pretty user friendly to be able to send out emails to your fans or people who are following you and whatever. So I'd like to grow our presence on that site. I like it.
I didn't know it would send you emails.
Yeah, you can send campaigns to your followers, and
that's
it's
cool.
not they don't charge you for that stuff, or you can pay for ads and you can send to people that follow an artist that you feel there'd be some crossover. If they like Miranda Lambert, I think they might like our stuff or whatever, and it'll shoot out to people who follow Miranda. Well, there's thousands and thousands that follow her, so it's a cool platform. I haven't used it a ton yet, but we're kind of new to it, but I like it so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's worth.
This isn't a paid promotion, but if they would like to pay us,
we'll take your money.
podcast@gmail.com. So
we will take your money. Find me, Uncle Brent, everywhere. We're looking for sponsors.
Annie, I am so excited. I'm meeting all my people in person. That also just hit me today. I was like, I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I was like thinking yesterday or one of the days in the past.
One of the days with the fever. It's fine.
They all blur together. Yeah. And I was like, so I'm going to meet all these people like face to face, which I know some of them I know better than others that I've had these significant conversations with, but have never been in the same room with, which is really weird if you think about it.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the same room with you.
You're going to be in the same room
house
with my wife.
But it doesn't feel out of normal. It feels like you're my next door neighbor.
It's because I'm your uncle.
You
not the creepy uncle, though. The creepy uncle, or
yeah,
nothing. No,
nothing but. I'd rather be the creepy. Let's start out at the bottom.
It's only up from there.
That's right. So, but it's going to be fun, and
yep.
People in the Austin area, if you want to come and hang that night, I know it's a school night, but if you want to come and hang, it's going to be fun. It's going to be literally 4.5, 5 hours of music. It's going to be, well, it'll be music and then a lot of sarcasm because they'll be
talking in between.
And during,
right.
Probably.
During. Well, if you're on stage, yeah, and if Andy's on stage, without a doubt. I'm glad you're not on stage at the same time. I do love the fact that I have a woman headliner. I'm very excited on a personal level. So I really want to thank you for that because it was really important for me to represent women in this industry.
Well, I love that. It feels like a man's world. So I'm excited to try to bust into it too. And I think it's thanks for having us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So that was a good interview. I really enjoyed getting to talk with Trashy Annie. She's got a lot going on, the new record deal, and she's getting ready to receive an award. So that's going to be pretty cool. And she will be headlining our show on basically on Wednesday, October 26th at 7 p.m. The Sound Pollution Podcast is coming to your town, yeah. So anyway, we will be there. If y'all guys have time, go ahead and come on down and see us. Entrance cost is whatever you'd like to tip because that is going to benefit Meals on Wheels. So if you have some time, go ahead and come out for that, and we'll see you then. And just remember to make some noise.